People's Court have also faced numerous judge role casting changes. Mathis is the second longest reigning judge to TV court history, behind Judge Judy Shineland and Judy's Justice by 3 years. In February 2023, it was announced that the 24th season would be its last season. Shortly after, Brian Allen's Allen Media Group had ordered a new series starring Mathis and his son Amir as bailiff, known as Mathis Court with Judge Mathis, slated for a fall 2023 release in syndication and on Justice Central. The final episode aired on May 25, 2023, and currently continues in reruns. Spin-offs Mathis Court premiered on September 11, 2023. Mathis typically begin proceedings by immediately giving the plaintiff the floor, having him/her explain their side of the dispute in its entirety to gain insight into the matters. He also gives the defendant the same opportunity. Cases on Judge Mathis tend to go deeper into more revealing places than most other court shows. He called attention to peculiarities or juicy details exposed throughout the proceedings as a means of making the cases more stimulating to viewers. More open and unreserved in his personal beliefs than other judges. He never hesitates to tackle serious, typical societal issues, political and mental health matters, and any other touchy subjects that emerged during the proceedings. Not one to shy away from disclosing his liberal mindset, Mathis tied his social justice and rehabilitation perspectives into the cases. While hearing the testimonies, he took on a relaxed, attentive, understanding, and open-minded nature, rarely missing an opportunity to jest or poke fun. He was given to wit, joking, and humor, but good-natured as well as ridicule and ribbing of the parties, often rousing his audience to uproarious amusement. Sometimes cut the tension, even tension he has fostered with wisecracks or playfully taunting remarks. Mathis had bantered directly at audience members on occasion, also resulting in audience amusement. Combined with his teasing and comedic tendencies on the bench, Judge Mathis was known for his street-smart urban experience, and once he had closely observed reasoning back and forth and taken a stance on the litigants and matters brought before him, his stern, shaming, and firmly lecturing side as well. In recent years, the show began to conduct paternity testing in disputes about child custody and drug testing if applicable. He often offered or compelled drug treatment and family counseling for those parties in need. As a child and teen delinquent, Greg Mathis found himself embroiled in frequent legal woes. He was a member of a street gang in Detroit, and he was arrested and sentenced to jail for illegally carrying a firearm when he was 17 years old. He was raised in one of the worst housing projects in Detroit, while raised by a single parent. During his youth, he was involved in gangs, most notably the Errol Flynn's gang. Dropped out of high school and spent time behind bars, growing up as a gang member and heroin dealer in the mean streets of Detroit, Michigan. Mathis had done plenty of time in juvenile detention centers before age 17. All this changed when a judge gave him an ultimatum, either to get a GED or go to jail. At the same time, he found out his mother was dying of cancer. Rushing to her side, he promised her he would turn his life around, which he did. He attended college, attended law school, earned Juris Doctor degree, and passed the bar. Mathis had frequently used his courtroom series to highlight his troubled youth turned success story as a way of motivating and inspiring his audience, especially the youth, that there's no adversity that they can't pick themselves up from. It was his background that Greg derived much of his arbitration formula in TV show theme. For example, the court show's title sequence music video throughout the early seasons of the program consisted of a brief dedication to Greg's life. He later stated that he took the job as TV arbitrator on the condition that his life story was shared as part of the opening for each episode. In the same likeness of his experience, Greg took a distinct admiration for litigants who had seen the error of their troubled ways and had made efforts to improve and better their lives. He also made efforts to promote treatment and programs for individuals struggling with narcotic and alcohol addictions. By the 2014-2015 television season, Judge Mathis made it to its 16th season, making it the longest-serving African-American and Black court show arbitrator, surpassing Joe Brown, whose program lasted 15 seasons. Moreover, he held the record for second longest serving court show arbitrator ever. Judge Mathis entered his milestone 20th season on Monday, September 3rd, 2018, and the 24th season of the program was its last. 2022-23, the success of the program was particularly notable. Generally speaking, court show programming had a very limited shelf life. The programs in this genre are lucky to make it past a few seasons. He was the fourth longest running courtroom series, though both Divorce Court and The People's Court have experienced a series of cancellations, revival, reincarnations, and shifting arbitrators. Judge Mathis did not. Consequently, of the court shows with a single production life. Of the long list of court shows, the only programs still in production in the genre originating from the 1990s or prior are Divorce Court in 1957, The People's Court in 1981, and Judge Mathis in 99. Of these three, the Judge Mathis show hadn't suffered temporary cancellations amid its series run. Also of the three, Mathis is the only arbitrator to have hosted his program for the entirety of its run. From 2017 into early 2018, during the program's 19th season, Mathis considered ending his courtroom series as he heavily encouraged by his hometown community to run for congressman of Detroit, Michigan. Due to the successful direction and longevity of his TV series, Greg eventually opted against the congressional opportunity in favor of carrying on the Judge Mathis show. Greg stated that he would like to do his court show for as long as he can. He has stated that from the beginning, he only expected his show to last 3 seasons. Inspirational and positive messages to young people won the court show a Prism Commendation in May 2002. The court show went on to win an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding News Information Series in 2004. In April 2018, the court show won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program, just ahead of making its milestone 20th anniversary. When he was crowned the winner of the Daytime Emmy Award in 2018, it became the first courtroom series with the African-American jurors to win the award. In his acceptance speech for his first ever Emmy Award, he credited his diverse staff of females and minorities. On May 4, 2022, Mathis was honored as a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Each episode ran for 1 hour and typically consisted of 4 cases. The show is broadcast 5 days a week in every state, as well as Canada through Omni TV. The cases on Judge Mathis were classified as tort law civil disputes with a maximum of $5,000 claim, a typical amount for a small claims court. The producers of the show selected the cases. To acquire the cases, the show solicited real-life litigants with pending disputes or individuals with potential disputes. If litigants agreed to appear on the show, they were paid a talent fee ranging from $150 to $300, and they received travel accommodations. Greg Mathis had prior knowledge of the cases. In all cases, litigants gave their prospective case managers all the evidence in advance. Any outside legal case pending had to be dismissed by both parties. Typically, Greg's producers only looked for cases that they deemed were juicy and sensational enough for TV. Each case's litigants entered the second-floor studio at the NBC Tower and pled their case in front of a studio audience. The show paid for the litigants' travel and hotel fees, provided by a small stipend for those selected to appear before Greg. Standard practice for courtroom television programming. Greg Mathis reported that the production asked him about filming the show in Los Angeles. Production had expressed interest in the show being closer to the rest of the celebrity industry. Although he considered the suggestion, he vehemently denied the option. He didn't want to interrupt the success of the show and loved Chicago more than LA. Like most TV programs, season premiering in the fall of 2020 amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Judge Mathis was forced to enter into a new season 22, in a resourceful fashion. The show was pre-taped well in advance of airing for editing purposes. The program had to shoot cases during the height of the pandemic. Unlike other courtroom shows, Greg Mathis, Doyle, the litigators, and the audience all initially presented in person as opposed to virtually. That being said, by unset precautionary measures in place, a significantly depopulated courtroom audience, all members of the audience widely distanced from one another, all wearing disposable surgical masks. These COVID measures were updated that same season. The litigants, along with their witnesses, if necessary, presented testimony from remote locations through webcam. Video monitors were set up in Mathis' courtroom on the litigant podiums. Greg himself, along with bailiff Doyle, presented to the courtroom in person. Judge Mathis's final bailiff, Doyle Devereaux, had been with the show for most of its series run, since January 2003. Midway through the 4th season, it was revealed in an Our Detroit news publication that Doyle was never a real-life bailiff, rather than an actor cast by the show to play the role of one. In Doyle's words, the show is real, the cases are real, you guys are real. If there's something that could be a little fake about the show, it's me. Verbatim Doyle. Before Doyle, Kevin Lingle was the show's bailiff for a short duration during the show's fourth season as well. The show's first bailiff, Brendan Anthony Moran, passed away on December 19, 2002 after he fell to his death from the balcony of his 24th floor Chicago condo. His death was ruled a suicide, although Greg and Brendan's family felt differently. In the first season of the show, Leslie Morrell, a former news anchor for WPGH Pittsburgh, became the show's court reporter. Her role was to interview the litigants after Greg rendered his judgment and his verdict. She left the show after one season. For the remainder of the series run, the show doesn't have a court reporter. Okay, y'all, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.